Of my strange week of history, where I pretty much have three major topics. The first one was on furries, which I've already done, and it's received a lot of positive and shocked reactions on my TikTok and even some on my YouTube. But of course, Trovo. Does anybody remember what Trovo is these days? I still like the app, even if a lot of people don't. So now we're going to talk about bronies. The rules here are pretty simple. Well, pretty much how I'm going to do this is pretty simplistic. I'm only just going to talk about my experience and what I've researched and learned throughout my 10 years or however many years I've been a part of the fandom. No name drops. And whatever I state is a gripe. I also have to state positives and I had to provide a solution. So pretty much the same, you know, guidelines that I followed with the first part. Here we are. Part 2. Bronies. You all know what they are. There's documentaries. Everyone has issues with them. And a lot of people have said some pretty nasty things about them. But as I stated before, the big issue with these communities is not just the NSFW and because of Mainers. Again, not the biggest issue because there's something that's always the bigger culprit. The bigger culprit. I'm telling you right now, if you actually pay attention to what goes on within the community, it can prevent the NSFW and the Mainers situation. So, from my personal experience, here's what it was like for me to be a brony. First, we're going to start with the positives, okay? I love this community. It's very welcoming. It's open. And I hate to say it, it's been a lot more welcoming and open than the furries. Because at least with this community, it's a little bit understanding of being more open-minded and creative and, just allow me to be more of myself. But with all of that comes a dangerous precedent because, again, the furry community does the same thing. And trust me, a lot of my friends are furries, but there's one thing that I noticed that they always say that just really gets to me. But before I get to that, again, back to the positives. Love the story, love the characters. I love hearing about others' OCs. I love hearing about, my fellow bronies' favorite songs, their experiences. I love hearing about the good experiences, the bad experiences, what they learn from the bad experiences, and how they can still just love one another and have brony cons, and it's just peaceful. And even though it's not as big, the fact that there's still bronies out there still loving the show and still showing support for G5 and also being critical of G5 so it could be better. So when G6 comes out, it can be just amazing. And you still buy the comics. That alone is just amazing. So that's a lot of positives. Tons of positives. The music, the fan creations, the art, the inspiration. It's just, as you would say, magical. But with everything that's positive, we have to go down to, well, the about the community. So let's start off with the first biggest problem. Remember when I said that the furry community is very hypocritical? The thing is, the brony community is quite the exact opposite. They're actually pretty open. They're not hypocritical. They are just judgmental. And what I mean by judgmental is I get why they are like this because they want to make sure that you're actually a brony. So I give them points for that, but I give them a thumbs down for just how judgmental they can be. They pretty much look at pony OCs and they'll be like, oh, well, that doesn't make any sense and blah, 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 blah. And, you shouldn't do this and oh, but think about the kids and all of that stuff. And don't you know this is a kid show? And it's just, it's just a lot of that. And it just doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like you work so hard to come up with this well crafted OC, and it's constantly just being judged. Now, don't get me wrong. There are other bronies that will get on these type of folks and tell them you shouldn't be doing that, but it still doesn't stop that one person from when they did state that one comment to get into that person's psyche, make them feel like maybe this isn't a community for me. It's happened on more than one occasion. And I'm just going to be real with you, it's not right. If someone wants their character to have time warping powers or be able to travel at the speed of light, and as long as it doesn't interfere with the original cast, who cares? Now, I will admit that when it comes to Pony OCs, they do have a bad habit, want to interfere with the original cast. And of course, what I love about this fandom, and of course the creator, Laura Frost, and their team, they acknowledge that there are pony characters, they're like OCs, and they say, you know what, we can make them background characters. Genius idea. It's brilliant. It's awesome. I love that they came up with that concept, and it was, just amazing. Characters that only have small interactions with the main characters and the main cast, and that's that. And that's pretty cool, Not a lot of shows will do that. So I think that's really well done. There's a lot of community involvement, and, it's just beautiful. But the judgment from certain people and their OCs is just disgusting. I will give the furry community this. They don't judge as much as the bronies do. And let me take this a step further. They judge if you're a furry as well. They judge if your content doesn't match what they do. If you are a brony streamer and you don't have My Little Pony songs blasting through your radio station or in the background, but you have, I don't know, death metal or I don't know, a gospel song or whatever playing in the background, you won't get no support. You have to be 100% brony. You have to talk about My Little Pony. You have to quote lines from My Little Pony in order to be considered a brony. That is how they roll. If you don't follow their rhetoric, if you don't do how they do things within the community, then therefore you're just not a brony. You're just a half brony. You have to know all the songs and all the episodes and all the sayings and everything. And you have to sound like the characters in order to be considered a brony. And I say that is completely unfair and not right. Just because someone didn't watch every single episode or can sound like any of the characters does not mean that they're not a fan of My Little Pony. Some fans of My Little Pony are just built different. They just came from different eras. Some came from the G1 era. Some came from the G2 era. Some came from the G3 era. Some came from the G4 era, and maybe the only thing they want to do is just make an OC that's just based off of a pilot episode, and that's it. Maybe some ponies only, some bronies only just like a few songs, and that's it. Maybe they only like 100 episodes out of the however many episodes are out there in total from all the 10 seasons. Doesn't make them any less of a brony as long as they respect the fandom. Then why even care? They judge the fan fictions that are not, involving minors. You know what I mean? Like, not the bad ones. You know the ones that are talking about the ones they do in the Sonic fandom. But they just they judge. Oh, well, this person is this, and this person is that. It's just like, why? And of course, there'll be people that say, we don't judge. We welcome all. We welcome all. Let me tell you something. This pony streamer has been doing their own thing for over 3 years. And do you want to know how many of my pony friends have come by to show my support over the years? Yeah, that number has been minimized. So this whole, oh, we support everyone. Yeah, don't fall for it like I did. And as much as that hurts, and I still love my pony friends, I'm just telling you right now, yeah, maybe one, maybe two, maybe four, but nah, because you didn't follow the Brony code. And what if I told them maybe the Brony code's wrong? You don't have to recognize or memorize every single lyric from every single My Little Pony song. You don't have to know every single scene by heart. That's great that that makes you a super fan, but it doesn't make you a total fan of the show. It just makes you look like an addict. Nothing wrong with it as long as you're not, pushing on others. But it's no wonder why people look at Brony and be like, oh my goodness. You gotta let people love the show, love My Little Pony at their own pace and level. I'll give furries this, they at least get that right. If they don't know everything about the show, educate them. Show them a scene, not a whole episode. Introduce them to a song, not 30 songs. Let them want to be a fan. Let me give y'all a good example. There's someone by the name of Euphoria who I really, really like. And I'm just taking things slow with them. And she told me that she used to watch the show. She used to. I am going to put a big placeholder right there on that lie. I used to watch the show. Don't worry, I got something that I need to say to you all because you're not going to like what I have to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. But before I get to that, let me finish this. Because of me just showing off my pony show and everything, they did the sweetest thing ever. They took time out of their busy schedule. They made their own pony sona. And now they have their own little pony sona that they rock with me in VR chat. If that's not sweet, I don't know what to tell you. I didn't tell them be a brony. I didn't question them. I just believed them. And they don't know all the songs. They don't know all the characters. But they have shown and proven to me that they are indeed or used to be a brony and that they love the show and they love the characters and they love the plot. And they had their own pony sona. And then it was thanks to me who helped them love being a brony again. Because I wasn't like the elitist fans who kept judging people because, oh, well, you don't do this. Oh, and if you really want them to judge you, say ooh ooh. Or say that what if the ponies had feet instead of hooves? Oh, they don't like that. All this judgment, and it's just so sad. And you can't help but just kind of scratch your head a little bit and be like, what's the big deal? Why is this such a problem? Remember how the bronies were so upset because of the humanoid versions? What was it, Equestria High? Oh, it's an abomination. And the show ended up being good. Show ended up being amazing, actually. Heck, people even liked the characters, and they made and they loved them so much that what I think in the comics it's like pony fight versions of them. So listen, while I admire the fact that you want to make sure that someone is a brony, slow down a bit, okay? One song, one character, and one scene, and then let them figure out the rest. Let them figure out the rest. That should be the formula. If they know one song, one character, one scene, there you go. That's it. It should just be as simple as that. The another gripe that I have is the questionnaires. Every single brony that I meet has to always have this constant questionnaire. And it's even with those that are quote unquote the ones that say, I used to be a brony. Who's your favorite pony? And I'm just like, do you remember the theme song? Who's your crush pony? The one that you had a crush on when you were young. Do you remember this scene? These scenes to me, sorry, not scenes. These moments where these questions are asked don't feel like they come from genuine fans. I feel insulted when I hear this stuff. I just feel insulted. That's just how I feel personally. Because if you have to constantly keep asking me these questions, do you don't really believe the fact that when I say that I was a brony, that I am a brony? Heck, I don't have to say like used to be. I am one. I love horses. I love the show. I love the characters. And I literally prance around talking about I'm a brony, regardless of what my friends say. And I don't care what they think. I still am me. I go into Sonic worlds. I go into human worlds as this thing, as my pony Sona, with my head up high. Because I'm not ashamed of myself. And guess what ends up happening? After I deal with all the ridicule, they give up and they let me be myself. That is the power of knowing who you are versus just someone talking about they used to be a brony. But please stop asking me these questions every time someone sees me or whatnot. These questions are generic and they come across as off-putting because you ask the same questions, but you never bother to get to know me, the person. So instead of asking me my favorite song, tell me why I like the song. Instead of asking me why I like the show, tell me what made me like the show. Instead of ridiculing my pony Sona, ask me what inspired my pony Sona. Do you see how this is more enlightening than what that? And for the love of Luna, stop singing the My Little Pony song just because you know that someone's a brony. Why don't you sing any of the other songs? But why does it always have to be the My Little Pony theme song? It is insulting. The word that I have to state is insulting. How would you like it if I was, if I see someone that's a Sonic fan and all I keep saying is, you're too slow, you're too slow. Hey, Sonic, do you still like Amy? Do you still like Amy? Yeah. Pretty annoying, isn't it? That's like if I met John Cena IRL and I had to say, "You can't see me. You can't see me." Like, come on, man. Where's your creativity? I wanted to make a TikTok or YouTube video about that, just talking about the woes of this community, because that is one of the most obnoxious things that I deal with. And it's a breath of fresh air when I meet someone who doesn't do that. You don't need to quiz me just to prove that I'm a brony. Just get to know me. And the reason why people do that is because, just like I said in the furry video, big YouTubers make this joke and they think it's funny. You see a My Little Pony person, just sing the song to him. Just sing the song. Sing the song. Just sing the song. Watch the reaction. Watch the reaction. Sad. Let's talk about the ones that say, "I used to be a brony." Let me ask you something. To all the folks that I deal with that says that same tired line, what stopped you? "Oh, I just lost interest." No, no. You were peer pressured to lose interest. Your friends told you the show isn't good. Your friends told you that they're not bronies. So guess what ended up happening? You were so weak minded to the point that you allowed them to change who you are. It had nothing to do with the fact that you lost interest. You just simply gave up on the fact that of what you are, which is a brony. You gave up on it because you wanted to appease your friends. Let me tell you something. I have friends and acquaintances who have different beliefs when it comes to religion and politics, and not once have they changed my mind. Republican, Democrat, guess what? I'm still independent. Religion. Oh, they're Catholic, Christian. I'm still neutral. Not once have they changed my mind because I know who I am. You have to know who you are. This nonsense, this crap that I hear about, "Oh, I used to be." It's either you are or you aren't. It's either you actually liked it or you just did it because you followed a fad. Because of the fact that, "Oh, it was popular 10 years ago, but because it's not popular anymore, I just stopped." You're weak minded. You are weak minded. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. That's like a saved person saying, "Oh, I used to be saved." No. You don't let people tell you what you are and are not supposed to like. I've been rocking my pony Sona for a long time. A long time. And not once did I let any of my pony friends or anybody tell me what to do. I remember I had one person try to tell me, "You should change the horse medal to something else." And I said, "No. This is me. This is who I am. And it's not going to change. You should give up being a pony, man. You should give it up. You should give it up." Never did. Still remained a pony. Still remained a pony. Nothing has stopped me from ever wanting to change on being a pony. Nothing. Not family, not friends, nothing. Nothing stopped me from being an anime fan. Nothing stopped me from being a wrestling fan. Nothing stopped me from being a brony. Nothing stopped me from being a furry. Nothing stopped me. Because I know what I am and what I like. Nothing stopped me because I'm not weak minded. Oh, I used to be a bro. You're weak. If I hear I used to be something, you're weak minded. You love and like what you like, and you don't need to add an excuse to it. 31 going 32 years old, still a Power Rangers fan, still a TMNT fan, still love my Mortal Kombat, still like Tekken, still like Street Fighter. I still like Blaze Blue, even though it's not as popular anymore. Racquetball, freaking love tennis. I don't have to like something because it's popular. Get out of here with that garbage. Still me regardless. I go in the furry worlds. Oh, I used to be a brony. Well, you missed out. I'm still me. I don't need somebody to tell me what I'm supposed to like and not like. Oh, well, I never expected a pony to like wrestling. Well, keep living. I'm a rarity. I'm still going to be me. And I'm going to forever be me. Because I love me. Heck, I remember when I was in a certain Discord server where I typed up my whole bio and it received 0 likes, while the rest of them received 6 likes, 10 likes, 8 likes, over what, 20 likes. And no matter what, I still kept that bio the same because I know who I am. And to this day, it has received 0 likes, but guess what? I am still me. And I'm still unique, and I will still appreciate me. I hold my head up high every single day because I love me. I love my creations. I love what I built. And if it grabs attention, cool. And if it doesn't, oh well. It takes a high level of love and just the lack of arrogance and humbleness to reach this level of this is me. Gotta know who you are, or anybody's just gonna tell you what you are. So many people I've met. I used to be a brony. I used to be a brony. I used to be a brony. Here's my excuse as to why not. Take those excuses and shove it. Ponytown is as popular as ever. The show is still making millions of dollars. People still watch reruns of it on the official, like YouTube channel. The show is still popular. There's still BronyCons. There's still concerts. It's you that's changed. Because you only stick with what's popular. I would never care that the show was popular or not. I will still have remained Brony. And that's the difference between me and some big time streamer. I know who I am. I don't need to change my appearance just to get a bunch of people to like me. I used to be a brony. Shove that somewhere. Heard that for 10 years, and I've had enough. Don't ever say that to me again. If you are a brony, you don't need to say that. You need to tell me I am still a brony, and this is why. Now, if your reason for that is because of a death or because of something traumatic, understandable. But even then, I would tell you. So you're going to let that one thing, even though it was tragic and terrible, stop you from loving what you admire? I'm not going to call you weak minded. I'm just going to say, well, that's just unfortunate. Oh, so because people make NSFW of certain characters in the show, I'm supposed to just hate the show forever? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because some big popular YouTuber, say something about losers, creeps, and weirdos about certain My Little Pony fans, I'm supposed to stop? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Really? Well, that's perfectly fine. You can pretty much abandon the fandom because of what that YouTuber with a million views has said. But guess what? I'm still going to be me. And I'm still going to love and honor My Little Pony. You can call me a neckbeard. You can call me whatever you want. I still know who I am. And trust me what I say. This quote unquote neckbeard is the exact opposite of the stereotypes that you think that I am. I have a job. I have money. I have a degree. I have tons of talents. And believe me when I say I am very happy with my life. I want more, I want to achieve more, but deep down I am happy. What makes me frustrated is when people have to constantly have to make an excuse as to what they used to be. I used to be great. I used to be this. I used to be what's stopping you. As long as you're alive and breathing, what's really stopping you, huh? I used to be a brony. Let me catch someone saying that again to my face. When you approach me, you better tell me that you are or you aren't. Don't tell me you used to be. And if you do, you better have a good reason. Weakest excuse I ever heard in my life. I used to be a fan. Well, it's not popular anymore. Weakest, saddest, most pathetic excuse I ever heard come out of anybody's mouth. Now I'm just gonna keep it real. If that's the best excuse you have for me, you're pathetic. And you are a sheep. I used to play this game. It's just not popular anymore, so I don't play it no more. I used to listen to this person, but they just fell off. I used to have a mind of my own, but I was too busy on focusing what other people thought about me, so I just stopped loving myself. That's all I hear when people say that. That's all I hear. The only time I should ever hear that word I used to be is if it's based off an addiction. I used to smoke, but not anymore. Not based off a TV show. Come on, people. Y'all could do better than this. I know y'all can. I used to be. I used to be. So sick and tired. So all my former bronies, I want you to look at your pony sona, redo your pony sona, and I need you to write in bold letters, I am a brony and I'm proud of it. And I don't give a damn about the controversy. I will be the exact opposite of it. That's what you need to say. Stand tall. Be proud of who you are. You only got one life. One. And if you want people to tell you how to live it, fine. Perhaps they have more control over you than you have over yourself. Peer pressure is just that powerful, huh? Me, get peer pressure, please. Any choice I made was out of my own choice. It was not out of peer pressure. So I know who I am. Someone shows me a cigarette, I tell them no thank you. No thank you. Because I know who I am. I don't need to smoke no cigarettes. I don't need to drink no alcohol. And I don't need to have an excuse on why I don't like something. Just like I don't need to have an excuse on why I used to be a fan. It's either you are or you aren't. All right. That's all I got to say about that. Let's go to 4. My fourth gripe. The Foles and the Phillies. Yes. For some strange reason, I know this part of the community, for some reason, they like them a little bit too much. Not everyone. I'm talking those rare few. And I get on those rare few every time I say no. That this is a line that should never, ever be crossed. A foal and a Philly is literally kid. You just don't go there. You just stop. You just stop. Don't try to justify or anything. You just simply stop and you get help. There you go. There's your solution. You stop and you get help. Stop and get help. That's it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. There's no justifying that. You just don't do it. And no amount of, oh, it's just art or whatnot is going to save it. No, you just stop and get help. Easy. What do I do? Stop and get help. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. Don't really need to go into any details because I'm pretty sure the YouTubers already done that because that's all that they want to do in their sad, pathetic lives. It's just expose communities because that's what helps them get the most money. They don't care about you. And they don't care about me. They care about the algorithm, their views, and their money. And if you're not that type of person, then I'm not talking about you. And I guess the last thing that I really want to say, that's one of my gripes I have with this community. Is that they sometimes lose their identity. They're so focused on trying to be Applejack, be Twilight Sparkle, be Pinkie Pie, be this character, be yourself. Furries at least get that right. I'll give the furries this. Be yourself. Stop trying to be like these other characters. If you can sound like them, that's good. But be yourself. Admire the work, absolutely. Do your little fan project, but be you mostly. Represent you. They don't have to worry about Hasbro constantly trying to copyright claim y'all. There we go. Hasbro. Hasbro is a very annoying company. They love to constantly copyright claim everything because they're greedy. It's just that simple. Greedy, 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 greedy. That's all I can say about it. They're just greedy. No justifying it. No trying to defend it. Greedy. 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 They want money. They want more money. They are a typical corporation, and Hasbro just needs to get a grip and stop. They need to take notes from Sega and understand that embracing fan projects and whatnot, fan art and everything, actually helps build a community. But when the moment you say, oh no, yeah, blah, 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 well, that's how you destroy a community. Good luck and congrats. You made yourself look silly because you wanted to prove a point. You wanted to make an example of somebody, and you end up making yourself look terrible. You used to represent something, Hasbro. How about you step up your game and stop trying to be like Nintendo? Be different, and you'll still make your money. I promise you. Just be different. Let the fans be fans. I don't love the show. Don't make their inspired concepts. As long as they're not violating copyright laws, and as long as they're not trying to make money off of it, like who cares, man? It's just you gotta understand. My Little Pony's already popular enough. Like, what more do you want? I understand that y'all get frustrated because you're like, oh well, they sound just like Pinkie Pie, so they try to pose as this character and make money off of that, and that's a problem. Okay, I understand that is a problem. Maybe have you ever thought about encouraging them to make their own character? Have you ever thought about that instead of just constantly hitting them with cease and desist? Do you really think that that's necessary? Just do what SNK does or Sega, You'll be fine. You don't have to be this big corporation that just constantly want to copyright and take down people's hard work. Especially when they always credit you all. It's not worth it. I guarantee you it's not worth it. They barely make as much money as you all make. They're just trying to spread the love of My Little Pony. Here you are going around just destroying channels. But I guess you can't touch me because I'm just too original for you. And that's the way I like it. I want to be different and original. So I can prevent companies like you trying to strike down my channel. Just sad. Just very, very sad. And the last gripe, and I know I said this before by me, the last gripe that I have with this community that I want to honestly, constantly just cease is that it's based off of popularity. The furry community didn't base itself off of popularity. It based itself off of the fact that they had a persona that resonates with them as a person. And then here you all are judging them, judging those that are a furry, trying to say you're not a furry even though you technically are, and you're just doing what they're doing with OCs and everything. So instead of just acknowledging and thanking, the OG furry, you want to act as if, oh, we have nothing to do with them. Last time I checked, horse is a furry. It's an animal. Anthropomorphic. So quit kidding yourself and talking about you're not a furry. Get over it. You're part furry. Congratulations. It's not a big deal. It really isn't. Well, we would do. We wouldn't be associated because of all the negativity. Every community has good and bad. I've already stated this before. You can't run away from that. You can't. It's never going to go away. You're going to deal with good and bad. It's never going to go away. And you have to accept that. You have to grow up and accept the fact that that is just how it's going to be. You just address it, you do better, and that's it. That's all you can do. And if people want to be immature and act like they're still like that, then there you go. Oh well. Stop going based off of popularity and just go based off of the passion and love that the fans still have for the show and for their OCs. That's what you need to focus on. The ones who just do it for a fad weren't real fans to begin with. They're posers. They're fake. And that's why it's so dangerous to try to cater to everyone. Because they only will go towards what's popular, but never towards what they actually like. Those are the ones that say, I used to be a fan. Not real fans. And I shall be right back. Listen to me and listen to me well. I may be a brony, but that doesn't mean that I am liked and loved by bronies. I have been questioned by bronies. I have been judged by bronies. I have been ridiculed by bronies. So don't you dare even act and think for 1 second that just because I'm a brony that I was welcomed by every single brony that I came across. Because let me tell you something, Buster, that's not how it happened. I had to work and I had to literally fight for my approval to be a brony. Now I'm talking about on the Twitch side. I'm talking about on the streaming side. IRL, I'm a brony. I don't care what they say. But if I wanted to be in that community, to be one of them, you want to know what really was painful about being a brony on the streaming side? I was forced to be SFW at all times. I had to be this person that had to be censored to such a T that it hurt. Because the community is mostly comprised of not only just adults, but minors too. And then after the collab is done and after that was done, I had to be like, wow, I had fun, but man, just wow. So if you think for 1 second that I didn't have any of those moments, you're wrong. Even to this day, I deal with people that look at me and their ponies and they just like, the only thing they can say to me is they like my pony Sona, but nothing else. Because this community is derived off of being too SFW, too safe, and too much of a fad instead of something that could resonate throughout generation from generation. This community is not supposed to be based off of popularity. It's supposed to be based off of recognition and love. And shout out to all the pony streamers who did give me a chance and didn't judge me and didn't shun me. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you for giving me a chance and for accepting me for who I am. There's one person in particular that a lot of pony streamers had issues with. But let me tell you something. That one pony streamer, even though y'all had issues with her, was the only pony streamer to raid me with literally 20 plus people and wish me a happy birthday. So if that person knows who they are and they come across this stream, I want to thank them for that. And I know there's going to be one that says, but I raid you all the time. I raid you all the time. I remember I raid you that one time. It's not about how many times. It's about the many times that you did it and you allowed me to be myself. Because this pony streamer doesn't always want to keep playing My Little Pony. Because the one time that I actually did that, I barely saw anybody. Because to some of them, I was considered a poser. You didn't say it. Your actions said it. But what did I do? For the past 3, going on 4 years, I followed every single pony streamer. I shouted them out. I showed them love and all that stuff. But when it came to me, because I'm different, because I'm unique, I'm like anything that you have ever seen. That is why I am so happy that I am no longer a part of Twitch anymore. Because it was not just with the furry community, it was with the brony community. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I'm free from that. I'll never forget the one time that I tried to send a friend request to one of my pony friends and it was denied. This was the same pony friend of mine who showed me that there was pony streamers. And to this day, I still respect them. I still honor them. I still shouted them out. But I won't say that it didn't hurt. Or the time that I reached out to them for a collab, but because I didn't have everything that was required to be a pony streamer, I was denied. This pony streamer got rejected by their own on numerous occasions. So don't you dare think for 1 second that even though as much as I love this community and I loved my fellow ponies, that I never felt, not once, judged by my own. So I want to be the opposite in their communities and show love and care regardless of who they are. Whether I got that in return or not doesn't matter. I just wanted to be a light and an example. They joined my community and they looked and laughed at it while theirs is growing. But they were laughing at someone who really needed their help. And this is why I say the power of forgiveness is strong. It's very strong. Because when there were times that they needed my help, regardless, I helped them. You see, that's the difference. The big major difference between me and those who have their little 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 plus viewers. I have a heart. And I didn't care whether they were a full brony or not. As long as they show respect and love, I had their back. I'll never forget the many times how they would raid this pony streamer and this pony streamer and this pony streamer. But when it came to me, they left me alone. They never bothered to tell me what I did wrong. They never bothered to tell me how I could improve. They just told me I did a good job and they just left me to suffer. Yeah, this community's great. I love it. But I had to deal with some people who are good individuals who had no choice but to leave me behind. And if you don't think for 1 second it didn't hurt, if you don't think for 1 second that it didn't make me frustrated, if you don't think for 1 second that I didn't feel that, you're wrong. If you don't think that it doesn't hurt me when I see videos and seeing bronies doing some of the silliest things, getting themselves exposed and in trouble, you'd be wrong. Seeing documents of some people that I thought that were good people. If you don't think that didn't hurt, you'd be wrong. So why are you still part of the community then? Why'd you still help her? Why'd you still show love? Why'd you say? Because that's the thing. Because it feels good when you know how a person is. Because if I was surrounded by a bunch of these pony friends of mine, and if they just show me endless love but never truly show how they actually cared about me, then I would have been a fool who would have been hurt in the end. I still love this community. I still love those streamers, but I will never ever say that when I saw that it didn't hurt. And you want to know why? Because I'm human. I'm allowed to say it hurt. I'm allowed to say that the lack of support that I received from my own community hurt. I'm allowed to say that I felt like an outcast. I'm allowed to say that. And that's why I stopped talking in those Discord servers. That's why I stopped DMing some of my pony friends. Because I still felt that hurt. That betrayal. But it didn't stop me from being a brony and loving the show. It doesn't pay just to constantly be friends with people just because they're part of your own. Because your own can end up stabbing you in the back and hurting you where it hurts the most. And if you're not careful, it can make you bitter. But I chose to be different. I still chose to show my support and love, and not once did I ever said anything about how it made me feel. Not once did I ever tell my other pony friends, hey, this is what I dealt with. No, I didn't bother doing that. Because there's just some things that's just nobody's business. You have to wait and wait for the specific time to do this. And this time was now. During the strangest week. You think it hurts to be banned and blocked by a furry streamer? That's just a normal Tuesday. That's gonna happen. You know what's worse than getting banned and blocked by someone? Being ghosted. That hurts the most. That hurts the worst. And I dealt with that a lot in this community. I would say I dealt with that more in this community than I ever did with the furry community. And then it started to be a confusing conundrum for me because it's like, well, furry or brony, brony or furry. I said I'm going to love them both because you want to know why? Because this is the type of thing that I need. I need to know that this stuff happens regardless of what community that you choose to be a part of. And it would get so bad to the point where I start blaming myself and saying it's my fault. I should have just followed what they did. But then I realized if I followed what they did and got the views, I would have lost who I was. And I would have never, probably would have never met someone as nice and sweet and kind and accepting as Euphoria. People don't see themselves until it's too late. And if any of my Brony fans and Brony friends ever see this, and if they apologize to me, I'm going to look at them and say, I already forgiven you. You don't need to apologize. It was already in you the moment you met me. You do not need to play that game with me. Because while I was rooting you on and making sure that you had your little subs and stuff, I just kind of wanted the same thing that certain streamer did for me. And they were the only brony that went above and beyond despite their controversy. And every time I see them, hi, white people, why? How you doing? How's your day? How's your day? Not once did they judge me. Not once did they look at me like I was a weirdo. Not once did they even question my humor. Not once. They, in my opinion, was the realest brony I have ever met. And it's so funny how the one that quote unquote is so SFW and for their community, but yet the one that's the exact opposite was the one that showed me the most love. And the funny thing is, they still remember me. They never made an excuse as to why, they never made an excuse on as to why they couldn't talk to me. Every time I talk to them, they respond back. Every time I talk to certain ones of them, I have to wait almost a month or so just to hear back from them. So don't ever look at me like I'm a threat to someone's community or that I am unforgiving when I'm the one being the most mature brony streamer that you'll ever meet, who has zero issues with anybody and has gotten themselves into zero controversy. Because I'm the brony that tries their best to get along with any and all communities because I'm sick and tired of this division garbage. When there is enough division in the world, when there is enough animosity in the world, when people don't even know whether to trust their own president or not, why not be different and actually take the lessons from the show and apply it? And one of the lessons is to not judge a book by its cover. You want to know what's funny? That is one of the biggest lessons that a lot of people tend to forget. Judging a book by its cover. It's so ironic. And then people wonder, what, man, it's like you really have a vendetta against these types of streamers. I don't. I respect and love them. What I don't respect and love is that they act fake. And they justify behind their viewers. I don't like that. And I never will like that. And I never will respect that. Love and care for them, but I will never, ever honor that. What you see is what you see from me. I'm real. I may be a pony, but I'm real and I have emotions. And I deserve respect and I deserve support. I'm not perfect. I don't do the My Little Pony stuff all the time. But I am a My Little Pony fan. And I am a brony. Just like I'm a furry. And I'm not afraid to call out what I need to say. I've been patient, been dealing with this for going on 4 years. I have every right to say what I need to say. I've been patient. And I just been waiting for this moment to finally get it out my system so I can heal. And despite all of that, I still love everything My Little Pony. I still love the Brony streamers. But at this point, I just want these Brony streamers to just stop, focus on the fact that I'm a streamer, and just honor the fact that I am a My Little Pony fan. Because they're too focused on themselves. So just, hey, just acknowledge me as a fan and y'all can go on with y'all lives, okay? You don't need to call me a friend. You don't need to do all that. Just acknowledge the fact that I'm a fan, okay? Because I don't like that fakeness. I don't like it at all. Because I have proven and shown that I could be a friend. I have proven and shown that I can be trusted. I have proven and shown that I can keep things private and under wraps. And I have proven and shown that I can show my support. It's funny. My Little Pony has taught us the true meaning, the magic of friendship. But I don't think I dealt with a lot of friendly people in this fandom when it comes to that. Do not be the exact opposite of what My Little Pony has taught us. If you are someone that has done these certain things, not just to me but to others, just simply do what I said with the furry community. You need to do better. Because you have to. You have to, so your future will. And notice how I'm talking to barely anybody, but I'm speaking the truth. Whether it's one person, 6 people, 60 people, 100 people, it doesn't matter. I'm always going to tell the truth. And if there's anything that any and all TV shows have taught us is that the sponsors don't want us to tell the truth. They want us to tell lies to help them make more money. So if you have a bunch of people that say stuff to you like, oh, I like your content and stuff, and oh, you're such an inspiration. But the moment you start telling the truth, let's just see how much they actually like your content and want to sponsor you and want to show you love. Let's just see how much they actually care about you, the person. Most streamers, especially in this fandom, are afraid to tell the truth because the truth will not land them sponsors. The truth will not get them a lot of money because it's funny how the rich has this much power over our mouths that if you want our money, you can't say XYZ. Well, money is not going to keep me happy forever. Because if all the money in the world was the key to everyone's problems, then I hope it's the key of bringing back the dead. At least allow me just to see those who passed away that I never got the chance to say goodbye to. One last time. I'd rather be somebody who, if I end up being rich, is barely recognized but still does what's right and can still live a good life, still help others, than to be someone that's easily recognized and help destroy lives. I have to choose the path that I want. And the path that I choose is not a popular one and is a path that leads me to be ridiculed and judged and worse. But you know what? I'd rather choose that path than to choose a path where I can't even sleep at night. To go against all the lessons of My Little Pony for the sake of money and fame is disgusting to me. It really is. I may not be perfect, But I do my best to live by what I've learned from that show. And that's the difference between me as a brony and everyone else who followed it as a fad. I live by the show's morals, while everyone else lives to profit by those morals. Stay tuned for part 3. And don't forget, only you can stop you for what you truly love. And only you can choose how far you want to go. With anything, you can always just stop. But if you're really passionate about something,